Using technology to share your vision, coming up on the Better Sundays podcast. Welcome to the Better Sundays podcast, focused, practical, and usable advice for church leaders looking to reach new young families and impact their community. Well, howdy. Mike Holmes here at the Better Sunday podcast. Today we are talking about how to use technology to get your vision to go further and to last longer. The last few weeks we've talked about how to, formulate a vision, how to implement your vision and get it out there. We talked about keeping it white hot and reaching out and touching all the people that you possibly can with your vision. We talked about different categories of it, but today we're going to dive into kind of a little very niche kind of a topic, and that is how to use technology, some of the things that are all around us, how we can use technology to keep your vision going further into the future. So I'm going to give you 3 very specific points, got a little bonus at the end, and I've got something special for you too as far as a freebie, something that we put together that's had thousands and thousands of downloads, and I just want to share that with you and give you an opportunity for that. So anyway, for those of you that are new, Mike Holmes here. I am the founding pastor at the Sinclair Baptist Church in Sinclair, Wyoming, and we are the headquarters for the Reach Keep Ministries and all the Better Sundays podcasts, and everything that we talk about here are things that we have done in one way or another. This is practical stuff, not a lot of theory. So if you hear something practical today and you go, hey, that's a good idea, I might be able to use that, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. And if you hear a second practical thing, then do a favor there and hit the subscribe button. So whether you're on the podcast or watching this on YouTube, we're so thankful that you are here and grateful to have you as our friends. And for those of you that are regulars with us, welcome back. If you're here for the first time, hang on. We got a lot of things to cover in a short order. We're going to be talking about technology today. Now, way back, technology was different than it was. In other words, when Gutenberg came out and they started actually printing things, putting pieces of ink on paper and kind of being able to mass produce it, that was the technology of the day there. And I'm sure some pastors, their brains started thinking, it's like, wow, I could print something. Now, the first things that were ever printed were Bibles and long format reading things, but somewhere down the road, somebody came up with a flyer, the hear ye, and, don't forget, we got a sale barn going here, we're going to sell cows and sheep, or we're going to, got this for sale or that for sale. And they started doing flyers, and some pastor said, I could put my church advertisement on there and invite people to church, and I'm sure it happened somewhere someday, and that guy was credited for the first guy that used that kind of technology. Now, our technology has changed a lot over the years. I mean, there's things that came on. Remember when radio probably came, you may not remember this, but radio came on, and many churches went to radio ministries and started to reach out in that way. I came from the era of cassette tapes, and every speaker, whether they were a local church or parachurch or, some of the big evangelists, they all had cassette ministries where they would send you a cassette tape. All of that is using the technology of the day to preserve their message, or in the case we're talking about, how to preserve your vision that you're going on. So we're not talking about just regular message here. We're talking about taking some of your vision and making sure that it gets to people and how you can use technology to do it. Now, there's 3 areas that I want to cover, and the first one is audio. Okay, the second one is the visual stuff, and the third one is what I would call text or printed things. Okay. And when we get to the printed ones, some of them won't be printed, but they would be things that you would read as opposed to listen to or see with your eyes. It'd be like texting and things along that line. So I've got some notes, and maybe you might want to take some notes here too. Let's just jump right into this thing. Let's talk about audio right off the bat. First of all, when you give a vision talk, when you kind of present your larger vision, and oftentimes this is done on a special Sunday, and you have a lot of people there, and you've got, special day, and like, hey, we're going to talk about where we're going this year, or the building program, or the new ministry, or the kids program, or how we're going to get these new volunteers. Whenever you do that, that sermon can be preserved and obviously recorded on audio so that you can get that to other people that were not there. It's always that way. Somebody is not there that you wish they were there, and you can get them the sermon audio. Now, there are many ways to do that, and your sound people probably know how to do that. One of the things that we do, in addition to having our people listen to sermons that we have already preached, is have them listen to other sermons that are kind of along the line of what we're talking about. So you can do that as well. You can get other sermons and you can send them a link, or you can put them on a CD. You could actually do that, or you could give it to them in a couple other ways that I'll share with you in just a second here. But you can get sermons to other people. Another audio thing is to have a podcast and have some type of format where you are actually speaking on a weekly or monthly basis. And there are many ways to do podcasts today. You can do them where they go out to the whole world, but you can also do them where they are just going out to just your own people, and you can talk about the more, detailed type things with your church as far as your vision. So there's a lot of different things that you can do in the audio realm there. Sermons, smartphone audio. What I mean by smartphone audio, wrote this down, is something I do all the time, is I'll find a good sermon and it'll be on like a YouTube format, but I just put my phone in my pocket. Where is it? Here we go. I just put my phone in my pocket, and I'm not even watching it. I'm just listening to it all the time. And many people just listen to things that are on YouTube, and that is a great way. So you find a sermon that talks about, okay, so let's go to children's ministry. Let's say that you're really wanting to expand your children's ministry, and you want your children's ministry to reach into the homes and reach into families and reach into touching lives. There are many good YouTube videos on that. There are many good podcasts on that, and you want to get those links to your people, and you can just write it down on a piece of paper and give it to them, but then they can listen to it on their smartphone. Now, one other thing that we have done that has been very, very helpful in the past, and this is just a great way, is when we have someone join our children's ministry, and we did this just specifically with children ministry, there were quite a few different things we wanted them to listen to that had, some of our philosophies. Some are things that we produced. Some are things that other people produced. They were like podcast type format, but I put them all on an iPod, just one little tiny iPod. Now, nowadays you got phone, but back in the day, okay, and you may still have one, and I've got a couple of them around here, but it's just an iPod, and I just gave it to them, and I said when you opened it up, it had like 7 things to listen to. I want you to listen to those 7 things over the next 7 weeks. Now that you're, going to be one of our Sunday school teachers, now that you're going to be working in our junior church, whatever, I want you to get this philosophy and to listen to this. So there are 7 things I'd like for you to listen to them over the next 7 weeks. And you can use your own earbuds, but you just plug it into this little contraption here, just plug it in, and off it goes. Now that's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is kind of the good old-fashioned USB stick here. You might get some of those. We did something special at our church, and we had some that were printed up, and I'll get that real close so you can see it there. That says Sinclair Baptist Church. Did I have it upside down? No, I had it right side up. Okay, Sinclair Baptist Church. It's just a little USB, and we have that loaded up. And what we do is give this out to parents, and it has a bunch of things for parenting on there that helps them do that. Another thing that we came up with, and we found this looks like a business card, but it is actually a little USB thing, and that little thing flips out there, and you can plug that guy right into your computer, and you can have, and like I say, there's all sorts of sermons and things right on that little deal. But you can do that, use that technology to give a specific set of information to specific people that you are training or whatever. So that is just one of the many ways that you can do it with audio. Let's talk about visual things here, and we could go on all of these for a long time, but let's talk about some visual things here. First of all, when you do a presentation and you're getting ready to share your vision, say you're doing a new building program. I'm working with the church right now that's involved with a new building program. One of the things that I recommend they do is have a picture of the land where the building's going to go. Have a picture of a backhoe kind of digging, and it can be just it may not be on the actual land, but just a bucket in the dirt. It could be a picture of some 2x4s, picture of some, saws and, cutting wood and all that. Because, folks, our eye affects our heart, okay? And the idea when we share vision is to give visuals as well. People learn by many things. They learn by listening, they learn by touching, they learn by smelling, but the number one way that people listen or gather information is visually. And you can study all that out. There's a lot of evidence that says that we should be using visuals as much as possible. Now, you can print those in brochures and have handouts for people, and I think that is a good thing to do if you're doing a Vision Sunday. But if you don't have a screen or whatever, roll one into your service or get everybody there and somehow put something up and say, here is where we're going, and show some pictures. Show some, in the case of a building thing, show the place where the building is going to be. Show a Google map of where it is from, the sky. Show the all the traffic count that goes by. How many people are going to be driving by your church in any given amount, going to see your sign, that type of thing. When you start to do that, people grab hold of things in a much better way. And it's amazing how some people will grab hold of one visual and some will grab hold of another. It's just the way that we kind of have memories. We're all a little bit different, but you want to have lots of pictures and you want to do lots of stuff. And when you do your big presentation, you want there to be some type of visual that goes on. Now, like with all visuals, even like what this is right here on YouTube or audio on our podcast channel, that can be recorded. And it is very good for you to record not only the audio, but the visual of the entire service that you have where you're doing your presentation, and keep that in a place where it can be accessed. We recommend you put it on your website. Okay, so you have your 2022 vision, click here, and it shows a whole sermon and it shows all the things that you work so hard to see. And you'd be surprised how many people will watch that over time, be looking at that to see where you're going and what you're doing and what your vision is. A lot of us know there's going to be kind of basic Bible doctrine. We know there's going to be teaching from the New Testament, Old Testament. We know some of that about a church, but to find out where the pastor's heart is, where his heartbeat is, can be done visually very good. So record that and make sure that your big service, when you do all that, doesn't just be one and done, but it is there for a long, long time. Another thing that you can do with this is if it has multiple parts to it, okay? So you have, we go back to the building thing. We've got to get we got to buy some land, we got to get permits, we got to have this, we got to have this, we got to have this, we got to have this. You can take pictures of that stuff, and then throughout the year, you continue to put those things up and you add to that. Or you use pieces of your original vision. Your original vision says we thought the excavating was only going to cost us, or was going to cost us $20,000. We ended up getting all our dirt work done, have a big $10,000 pop up there, and people are they're going to applaud because you've done something. You've shown that to them visually, and they've seen how you've saved some money. So all of that can be done throughout the year. So your big slideshow that you have, if it's done on like PowerPoint or Keynote, you can save the pieces of that and show those pieces then throughout the year at appropriate times, especially if it's like a children's ministry. A children's ministry would have, things for the school year, but then it would have summer type of things. And then there would be back to school programs kind of starting back up, and you would want to show some of that. So very important way to be able to do some visioneering, as they call it, by using the big screen. One of the other things that we do, and this will be the last one in the visual, is we do what we call event summary videos. So if we go to, say, summer Bible camp, an excellent example. You're going to go to summer Bible camp. You're going to have all these kids out there, teens or middle schoolers, grade schoolers, whatever. They're going to have so much fun. They're going to have, tug of war, and they're going to have campfire, and they're going to go hiking and do that. Those are wonderful things to take pictures of. Put those pictures into a slideshow, which is very easy to do in a PowerPoint type scenario. And then at church the next Sunday after camp is over, or a couple weeks if it takes a little bit of time to put it together, say, we are going to tell you what camp was all about. And for those of you that donated money, and for those of you that donated to that new van that we have to get the kids to the camp, or we need a new van to get kids to this type of environment. We're going to take an offering for our van right after this so that we can get new tires on the van so that we can go out. And so here you go. And you play this and you put some good godly music on there that you like. And it's got, it goes from picture to picture to picture, about 3 seconds a piece on each picture. You can get, quite a few of them in there of kids having fun. And then you just kind of wind it down. When it's done, you say, and now let's make this happen again. Folks, that is a way to use technology to leverage your vision, to keep your vision going. Now, these event summary videos can be leveraged themselves over and over again. And one of the things that we do all the time is we play them in our church services in place of what it would be traditionally in many churches. There's an offertory. So, and what that's kind of a funny word. We only use that in church as far as I know. But basically, in the middle of the service, lots of times, or at the end of the service, they pass the plate. They pass the bucket. In our case, we have a bucket, and they pass the plate and they take an offering. And usually, someone will get up there and they're going to play really nice song, and that's good. Do it. Go for it. I like that. You can keep doing that. But every once in a while you can say, while we do our offertory, I just want to play you our camp summary video from last year. Because folks, after you see this, you're going to want to get involved and help sponsor some of our kids to go to camp that's coming up this summer. And you play last year's camp video, or the year before's camp video, or the year before's. And you might think that's old stuff, but let me tell you something. Those are a huge hit when we play those at our church. We have some now that are 10 or 11 years old, and they go way back, and people just eat it up because they go, look how little my kid was, or look was here and who was there, and oh, I remember that family. And I'm telling you, it just really affects their heart. Again, I think it's Lamentations chapter 3, verse 51, talks about, Jeremiah's talking about seeing Jerusalem and all the things going on there. And he said, my eye affects my heart. Even back then, visuals were important. So this is one of the ideas of having what we call rollings. And we take those event summary videos, and in many cases, we take just little bits of each one, and they're just slides, basically. We put them all together, and before people come to church, while they're coming in, the 10 or 15 minutes before, we have those things going, and we call it a rolling. It's kind of a front-end thing. We have some music playing to it, and it's just playing, and it's here, and people are just going, oh, I remember that. Oh, this church does that. Wow, I want to get my kids involved in this. That is a way to get your vision out there, is through what we call event summary videos and pre-service rolling videos, where you take some of those great things and you just roll them back and forth nonstop. You put it in a loop. There's a way to do that on PowerPoint. You don't have to do it during the service if you want. You can do it on a monitor or a television and put it in your lobby, and then when people are coming and going, there that thing is going, and you just watch. There'll be a crowd gathered around there because they're watching that thing. So that is a way to take your visual stuff and to get it going. Let's jump to the last one here, and then I'll give you a little bonus here at the end. This is the idea of print, okay? And it's not necessarily like print like with ink, but it's text that you would be reading. Okay, make sure that you have gathered every email for every person that has ever been in your church, and that when you present your vision, you send an email out to those folks, and you say, hey, here is what we're going, and you can put a link, and they can go see the thing or whatever, but you can let them know. We send things out to people who have moved on from our church and have gone on to other places. Many of them transferred in and out and have not yet found a home church, and they are so thankful to be connected with the home church and to watch a video of what has gone on back there where they used to be involved, where their kids were. So send emails out with all that. The other thing that you can do is you can create a Facebook group. Now, this is different than a Facebook page. Almost every church I work with now has a Facebook page. If you don't, we're going to teach you about how to do that someday here. We do a lot of Facebook group and a lot of Facebook page teaching. In fact, my little bonus has to do with Facebook. I'll share that with you in just a second. But the idea of a Facebook group, the group that we have is just our local people. It is people who attend our church on a regular basis, not grandmas and grandpas from far away, not people, other pastors who are interested in our church. That would be a page. This would be a group. A group is just people who are close to us, and they're here basically every Sunday, or regulars that come to our church on a regular basis. You want to, in that group then, do things that are a little bit more like a sermon announcement. In other words, don't forget to pray for Mrs. McGillicuddy. She's got the COVID, and we need to pray for her. And don't forget, we got a men's breakfast coming up tomorrow. You can put all that in the group, very kind of relevant type of things. But in that group, every month, put an update of where your vision is. Hey, our food ministry has now raised $17,000 for that new, food van that we're going to have to be able to distribute food and help our community out. Okay, we've raised $17,000. We're hoping to have $20,000 by the first week of summer. So you can do all that in a Facebook group in a real simple way. You can do short, simple updates that are not like newsletter, not like lengthy, and the problem with a newsletter and even an email newsletter is it takes a long time to prepare. A Facebook group, you can type something in and you can be done with it in about 45 seconds, and it's out there to everybody. And that is a great way to use technology to keep your vision going. Okay, the last one that I have here on the print thing is just the idea of texting links. Okay, and this is something we do this all the time after our church services. When you're doing a service, when you have more sermon than you can handle, okay, more than you have time for. In other words, there's like lots more stuff that you research. You take some of those things, put them into a document, just put them onto a PDF of some sort, print them up, and say, after church, if you'd like to know more about the God of comfort, I have found the 12 best Bible verses on the God of comfort, and I want you to have those. Make sure you put your phone number down on your connection card. We will have these texted to you by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You will have all 12 of those verses, and they will no longer just be something that you kind of try to remember from the screen here, but you'll have them on your phone, you'll have them on your device, and you'll be able to look those up. So you can do that real simple, like very easy thing to do is to text links out. You can text links to different things you've done. And the bonus that I have here, and this is probably one of the best things that you can do with technology, is you can text a link, or you can put it on the Facebook group that I just talked about. You could email it or whatever too, but you can use your little phone here and you can do a personalized selfie of how things are going with the update, with the vision. So basically, Pastor, what you do, and this does not have to be professional. You don't need fancy lighting. You don't need fancy microphones. This is the way it works. Relevant is more important than all the professionalism. You grab your phone, you look at it there, and you just simply say, hey, this is Pastor Mike, and it's Saturday night, and I just wanted to give you an update on where we're at with that fundraiser. Some really cool things happened this week, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I just want to let you know I am so excited to see you tomorrow. We'll catch you later. Bye-bye. Boom. And you send that off. Now, you can send that into that Facebook group I told you about. That would not go to all your millions of friends that you have around the world. That would just go to that group. Just go to your attenders. It would be something you can save that. That's obviously a video. And you can put a link to that, and you can send it. Now, you probably, if you're going to invite them to church on a Saturday, that is one thing to do. Another thing to do that works very good with the link is a report feature, and you'll get a lot of listening to this and a lot of viewing of this. It's where you get your phone out and you share your heart about where you're going with the vision. And you talk about all the things that are going well with it and a few disappointments, and just, be real personal. And then during your service, you say, folks, this week, yesterday afternoon, I wanted to update you about the project that we're doing, the vision that we're doing, but I know I didn't have time to do it here. So what I did is I recorded it on my phone. And you can all come gather around me, and we'll watch it here in just a minute. Or you can just put your phone number on your connection card, and right after church, I'm going to have our secretary, she's going to send this link out, and you'll be able to watch my burden. I'm very burdened for what is going on here with this new outreach program we're having. And I want to share with you some of the good things and a couple areas where I think that we're kind of falling short. But I don't have time to do that right now during the service, but I want to share that with you. Make sure you put your number on your card. And everybody's got their connection card out, and man, they're writing their phone number down because they want to get that. This is an excellent way to use technology. The phone, I never thought a camera on a phone. That never made sense to me. Okay, when they first came out with phones that had cameras, I just our phones are hooked to the wall with a little curly cord, if you remember. Okay, but now that I see this, folks, when you talk to your phone, it is a very close and an intimate thing. And when people watch it, it is in their hand. It is not on the wall far away. It is close. It is right there. And you are less than 18 inches away from somebody, and you can share some very, personal feeling type things and make a huge difference with your vision by simply using your smartphone. So all of that I just said to make sure that you take care of your vision by using technology. And speaking of technology, this is the thing that we've been sending out lately this week, a whole bunch of them just last night. This is Facebook for Pastors. This is a 15-page thing. It has all sorts of stuff on how exactly we use Facebook. For pastors, you can take every one of these, and these are photos and different things that we have done. You can take all of these and you can basically duplicate them. It is copyright free, and you can learn how to affect your community and be a big spiritual influence by simply posting positive things on Facebook. I probably have 200 or 300 likes this week of people who have looked at different things that I have posted, positive spiritual type applications that I have put on Facebook, and they have put the thumbs up to it there, and that is a good thing. I'm trying to be an influence with my life using the digital medium here called Facebook. So I will put the link to this in the at the bottom of the show notes here. Make sure that you click on that and you get your free copy. It'll send it, boom, it actually be to you. It emails it to you, and it just pops it up right on your screen. It's a really cool thing we got figured out now. So anyway, from the Better Sundays podcast, I'm so glad to be able to spend some time with you today. Next week, we are going to continue in our leadership series, and we're going to start to move, we're moving out of vision, and we're moving into kind of communication, how a leader communicates. Okay, and we're going to talk about preaching and some of that. We're going to cover some of that, but we're also just talking about just really good communication for pastors, and I want you to make sure that you're here next week. So as always, if we gave you a couple good things, a couple thumbs up and a subscribe would be appropriate. That helps us get the word out. The more subscribers we get, the sooner we can get to 1,000 and be able to really reach out and touch much more of the world. We get a lot more mojo there with the Google algorithm. So anyway, thanks for being with us here today. We love you guys, and God bless you. Make sure you serve the Lord with gladness, enter into His gates with thanksgiving, and we will see you next week on the Better Sundays podcast.